The lobby of Northbridge Corporation buzzed with the morning rush. Employees in crisp suits hurried past the janitor, Ethan, who was mopping the floor with practiced patience. Few ever noticed him. To most, he was just the quiet man with tired eyes, a widowed single dad trying to provide for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. That morning, however, everything changed. Through the glass doors, Ethan spotted Lily waiting for him after school, clutching her little backpack. He had arranged for her to sit in the corner of the lobby until he finished his shift. But as Ethan turned his head, his heart froze. A sleek black car had pulled up outside, and a man he didn't recognize was beckoning Lily to come closer. "Don't get in the car." Ethan's voice thundered through the marble lobby, shattering the usual corporate calm. His mop clattered to the floor as he sprinted toward the glass doors. The building went silent. Executives, interns, and visitors all turned in shock. The stranger vanished the moment Ethan rushed out, tires screeching as the car sped away. Trembling, Ethan hugged his daughter tightly, his hands shaking as relief and fear battled in his chest. He hadn't cared that he had shouted loud enough for the entire company to hear. All he cared about was that Lily was safe. But the CEO had noticed. Up until that day, Adrian Cole was known as a sharp, no-nonsense leader, a man who measured everything in profits and results. Standing on the balcony above the lobby, he had witnessed the entire scene. The janitor dropping everything, the panic in his eyes, the raw instinct to protect his child. It struck something deep in Adrian, something he hadn't felt in years. Later that afternoon, as whispers about the janitor's outburst spread across departments, Ethan expected a reprimand, maybe even a termination. He couldn't afford to lose this job. With Lily sitting quietly by his side, drawing flowers on a scrap of paper, Ethan braced himself when the CEO's assistant asked him to come upstairs. But when he entered the executive office, Adrian wasn't scowling. Instead, the CEO stood by the window, unusually quiet, his expression unreadable. "You shouted at the top of your lungs in the middle of my company's lobby," Adrian said finally, turning to face him. "Do you know what that looked like?" "Yes, sir," Ethan replied, his voice low. I was just trying to protect my daughter. I'm sorry if I embarrassed the company." Adrian paused, then knelt beside Lily, who looked up with innocent eyes. "You did what any good father should," he said softly. "And you reminded me of something I'd almost forgotten." Ethan blinked, unsure how to respond. The next morning, the entire company buzzed with a different kind of news. The CEO had announced a new initiative: childcare support for employees, flexible work hours for single parents, and scholarships for workers' children. But the biggest shock of all came when Adrian introduced Ethan, not as the janitor, but as the new supervisor of workplace safety. The room erupted in stunned silence, then applause. Ethan, overwhelmed, looked down at Lily, who squeezed his hand tightly and whispered, "See, Daddy, you're a hero." For the first time in years, Ethan allowed himself to smile without holding anything back.